Quick, just like everybody else this week, I have been playing with this generative fill in Photoshop. It is amazing. So I just wanted to share what I've been trying to figure out with this new tool. So first of all, I had this empty room and I thought, what would it take to maybe stage this room? So I came in here and the first thing I did was I said, add a couch. And so it added this couch. It wasn't perfect. The couch was spread out all the way across from the door frame to the wall. So I resized the couch because the great thing about this tool is that it's non-destructive. So you can see I can add or remove it as I see fit. So then I said, well, what if you created a grandfather clock? And I decided to do that over here. And I said, well, that's an interesting looking clock, but what is that clock face? That makes no sense to me. So I just grabbed my ellipse tool, I drew a circle around the clock face, and I told it to create a clock face. And that looks much better. It makes much more sense. So you can see you can build onto this and add new things in. Then I said, what if we had a lamp over in the corner? And it built a lamp for me in the corner there. And I thought, well, what if we had a nice shag carpet that matched the couch? And I put that in and it looks terrible. It just looks really bad. For some reason, it added a white border all the way around the carpet. I didn't like it, but I couldn't really remove it without removing the little shadows and stuff it creates. You can see it even takes the light from the window and puts it in there. That one didn't work out as well, but we can just remove it. We don't need it. In fact, we can just drop it in the trash and it's gone and you'll never see it again. So I went over to this next image over here. Now this image, I actually, we shot this for a realtor last year and it was a flip house. So there was still a bunch of stuff that was left on the floor. And so I sent this into my editor and I said, hey, go in there and edit this for me. Because I tried editing it and I couldn't get the floor quite right. So I sent it off to my editor. They did a much better job than I could have done. So this time I'm just going to use the tool. I've got my little magnetic lasso tool here. No, the polygonal lasso tool, sorry. And I'm just going to do a rough sketch around all of this stuff on the floor. I'm even going to come up onto that little baseboard right there. And I'll draw a quick shape around this. And we'll call that good. And so I'm just going to click this generative fill button. And all I have to do is hit generate because then it will see everything around it. And the AI is going to take over and it's going to see what's around it and it's going to fill everything in as though it was doing sort of a content aware fill. But it seems to be much more aware than it was when it was just content aware fill. So the AI definitely seems to be doing something that is working in our favor. And it takes a couple of minutes, but once it's done, I think you'll be quite pleased with the process. So the green bar is almost finished and there it's gone. It's just gone. It's like it was never there. So this is what the before and this is the after. And you can see it even like completed the design on the floor and everything like that. So I think that turned out really nice. Let's look at like earlier, I was doing the sort of the staging. What if we wanted a clock on the wall here or a picture frame? Let's try that. I haven't tried that yet. So you just grab your tool, click on Generative Fill, and then maybe add a framed picture of mountains and a sunset. See what that does. So give that just a couple of minutes, and as it goes by, the AI is looking at the area, it's looking at everything around it, and it's trying to decide what the best thing to be would put in there. So there you go. We now have a framed picture of mountains and a sunset. If we zoom in on that, how does it look? It doesn't look too bad. It could have done maybe a drop shadow, and I wouldn't be surprised if we could go in here, double click on the layer, click drop shadow, and See, oh no, see, so it took the whole area that I highlighted, and now it's adding that drop shadow to the area that was highlighted. So it didn't fill in the whole space. That's kind of what it did with the carpet too, right? Was it it put a border around what I was looking to add. So the drop shadow is not necessarily going to work for us there, but it doesn't look too bad. Like if you just wanted to add something to the wall. The real strength in this, though, is I think is removing things that shouldn't be there. So let's look at another picture. This is the same home. The stuff was left here by the painters, and we didn't have time to like restage it. I wasn't going to clean it all up myself, so I had no place to put all of the things, and I sent this off to my editor and said, "Hey, fix this for me." And they did. They did a very good job. But I had to pay for that. So if I go here, just click Generative Fill and hit Generate, and we'll see how well that does. I know there's like a mop in the corner over here, but something like that, my editing skills are strong enough that I would be able to go in there and remove that. But let's just see how this does. Is that crazy? It included the wood down here. It got the right angles. It included the part of the cabinet that was missing. It's all there. It looks so good. Oh, so I do see a mistake. So this cabinet actually has 2 wood panels on it, and it took from this cabinet and added that in there. Look at that. So it created a single frame instead of that split frame that the cabinet originally had. Other than that, I would say that is a darn good edit. I mean, that's really, really good. It would have taken me so long to do that on my own. It would have taken me so long to do it that I sent it off to my editor and had them do it. So there you go. I mean, this new generative um, fill is super powerful. I was playing with it earlier with another image, and I was creating things. Let's see if we can't find maybe another property that we could look at really quick. See how these images look. I was doing some outside stuff, so this one might be good. So let's grab this image and just drag it over here. So what if like I didn't want, I could take out, what is that? What is on the ground over there? Oh, it's the hose reel where they're hiding the hose. I mean, this was a really nice house, so it's not something that you would have to worry about. But what if you didn't want the flagpole? What if you wanted a flag on the flagpole? Ooh, let's try that. And I'm even going to, so I want to extend it because, hold it. I'm going to deselect that. I'm going to grab this. I want that flag to be like this big, but I want it to go off of the edge of the frame. So I'm going to put it there. And then I'm just going to put American flag and see what it does. It's probably going to be a perfectly square flag too, which is not exactly what I'm going to want. I'd like to see a flag blowing in the wind. If it's just perfectly square, it's not going to look natural, and it'll be kind of goofy looking. So let's see how this turns out. See if it gives us some windage in here. I see another problem we're going to have with it already. Oh, so it moved it all the way off the screen. So I can, because it's non-destructive, I could come over here and grab it, and it did add some windage, which is interesting, but sort of in the wrong direction. I could even go to edit, and I could transform and flip horizontal, and then maybe put that over here. It doesn't look great, right? Like there's There's just not enough there. There's not enough to see. So I'm going to get rid of that layer, and let's try doing it, blowing the opposite direction, and see what happens. So I'll bring this back up over here, and let's actually write American flag. Oh, what did I did? I hit F. That's what I did. I didn't do that in the generative fill box. So we'll go all the way over here. See, now it's going to I don't know. I don't know if this is going to work. Where is my generative fill? Here we go. American. This might not work. American flag blowing in the wind. If it looks good, we should be able to reverse it and have it go off the direction we want it to go. But I think it's going to like cover this part of the house or something. Something's going to happen over here if it even looks like a real American flag. AI is talking about that kind of stuff. Wow. That's amazing. Okay, let's try it. Let's transform it. Let's flip it horizontal. Let's grab it and drag it over here. It should line up with that post quite nicely. It almost does, but it needs to be rotated just a little bit. So go back to edit, transform. I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to get it to match up to that flagpole. And then I can move it where I need it to go. Maybe I over-rotated it just a little. Yeah. I think that looks really good. Can I make it bigger? I can. Edit, transform, scale. And just make it. Oh, see, that's going to make the pole bigger too. Is that going to be a problem? I don't think it is. I think that's money. I think that is about as good as good. What is this? So let's turn it off and back on. Yeah, see, there's this area here where it kind of obliterated that house. So that's what I was worried about, because it grabbed from this area and drew behind it. But you know what? That's not really a problem, because we can go in here with our pen tool, and it's already got a mask built on it. I'll make that a little bit smaller, and I can go in here and draw on the mask, put that house back in there, and just recreate that. And there it is. Put that little tree back in there. It's okay. It's a happy tree. There you go. And that's done. Like, you would have never known there wasn't actually a flag there if I hadn't have done this in front of you. It's like magic. It's like magic. I couldn't have done it. I would have taken hours. I would have had to like track down a flag on story blocks, maybe an image of a flag blowing in the wind, and paste it in there, and then mask everything out behind it. And it would have been a huge deal. Now, there is a problem with this though. And I'll tell you what that problem is. It's the shadow. There's no shadow here. How can we fix that? Let's try and go over here and hit Control J so we can duplicate that flag, and we can move that flag over here and edit, transform. I think maybe perspective will work. If I change this perspective to, let's see, it's going to be laying on the ground. Can I rotate it? Rotating it would be nice. Bring that in. So I'm going to have to rotate it still. But, whoops, it's stuck to my thing. Edit, transform, rotate, bring that over this way. I just want it to match up See, now it's like sticking way up in the air. So I gotta go back to perspective, bring that back down, and maybe move this one way down here. Oh, that looks pretty good. Bring this out. Yes, look at that. So we're getting that lined up. Go back to rotate just a little. Edit, transform, rotate. Move it. Oh, what happened? What happened to my rotate? Edit. It took me off the layer. That's what happened. Edit, transform, rotate. There we go. What is this doing? I'm clicking in the wrong spot. Rotate. I need my little rotate things to come up. There they are. There, line that up with that. Bring it over here. And it's just going to be a shadow, so I don't have to worry too much about like lining the pole up or anything like that. I think that's going to be good. I'm going to grab my... Now, this would be much easier if I was using my Wacom tablet instead of my mouse. This is not going to be as easy with a mouse, but I'm going to go through and I'm just going to sort of take these edges off, take that post off, and I'm going to make a little tiny pinpoint right here because this does not need to be going through the flagpole. I'm going to hit shift at the bottom of the flagpole and there. Now the flagpole is in front. Now what I want to do is I'm going to come over here, create a curves layer. This curves layer, I'm going to hit Alt and I'm going to tie it just to that layer there. And it just needs to be like the same color as the shadow. Ooh, I was almost there. That's so close. The red is sticking through. That's not a problem. I want to say I could drop this. Let's go to the red and just pull that down. Maybe make that black as well. It's pretty good. I can also come over here and do a hue saturate. Whoops. Click the wrong spot. Okay. Come over here and do a hue saturation. I can take all of the saturation out of that. Make it darker. Oh, look at that. That looks so good. That looks so good. I think that's it. I think that's what we needed. And yeah, I'm super happy with that. So come back over to the mask. I just want to like take that hard edge off of there because it looks like it's not blowing in the wind. There. I'm going to call that done. If I had to, I could probably bring the opacity down a little bit so that the shadow isn't so strong. Like you can see through the shadow a little bit. You can see the grass a little bit. Like the sun is shining through that flag. And that's it. So I went way deep into that, way further than I expected to. But I just wanted to show you a little bit about some of the things you could do with that regenerative fill tool that is now available in the beta. Okay, that's a good thing to talk about. If I can pull that up really quick for you. So when you add it into Photoshop, let me share my screen one more time. Entire screen. Here we go. Share. So we have Illustrator, we have Premiere Pro, we have all of these available in all apps, but we also have Photoshop Beta. So when Photoshop first opens up, it's going to ask you if you want to install the beta. And then when you go and install the beta, you have to open it from the beta. You can't just open Photoshop. You have to open the beta, and then it opens the beta version of I'm not even sharing with you. Dingbat. Here you go. So the future is here. This is where you'll see the beta app, and here it says Photoshop beta, and you'll open it. So after you open Photoshop, it will, if you're not opening from an image, if you're just opening it up to the home screen, it'll ask you if you want to add the beta. When you add the beta, you'll have the option through this. You'll go to all apps. You have Photoshop. You can open Photoshop, but you don't just want to open Photoshop. You want to open, see here where it says get the Photoshop beta app. You already have that. Once you've added it, then you can open it from here. So it's a little bit of a workaround. You won't find it just in Photoshop itself, but you have to add the beta. And once the beta is added, then you'll be able to utilize that tool. So I hope you have fun with it. I hope it's everything you've ever dreamed it would be. And if you have any questions on it, feel free to reach out and I will do my best to answer them. I'm still new to it as well, but it's going to be fun to play with. So go enjoy that. And it is on Adobe Photoshop. So if you don't have Adobe Photoshop, you're not going to be able to play with it. But AI is working its way into everything now. So you're going to have to learn to use it or you're going to fall behind. All right, that's it for this stream. I hope it was helpful and God bless.